An app of the Oklahoma City Thunder taking a 1-0 lead, 114-88 over the Minnesota Timberwolves with a 26-point victory, outscoring Minnesota 70-40 in the second half of this game after Minnesota was up 48-44 at the half. Shea does it again with 31 points in a victory, up 1-0 in the Western Conference Finals, along with Michelle Smallman, Chris Canty, Evan Cohen. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, that didn't go the way that I thought it would. That wouldn't. I was surprised. I mean, when you think about it, Minnesota is the older team chronologically, but OKC was the more mature team in terms of how they played, particularly in the second half. I thought they had a poise beyond their years, and I want to give a lot of credit to SGA, the superstar. Stayed with it after a 2-for-13 first half, absolutely abysmal. In the third quarter, comes out like gangbusters. Outscores the Minnesota Timberwolves by himself, accounts for 20 of the 32 points that OKC scored in that third quarter alone. It allowed them to cut that deficit that they had at halftime, allowed them to build a lead, and they didn't look back. So credit to OKC for sticking with it, not getting frustrated, and being able to find their footing in the second half when it became winning time.
Yeah, this was an identity game. Shea played like the MVP. And that's what he's been all season long. Oklahoma played like they've been playing all season long. The only question we had about this team heading into the playoffs is, can they maintain that when the stage is bigger and the lights are brighter? Because this is a young team, and until you see a team go through those steps and get that callus, you don't know if they're going to be able to handle the pressure or the rigors of the playoffs. And we're seeing the maturation of the Oklahoma City Thunder in real time. And you're right, CC. Shea, especially last night, didn't get off to the start he wanted. Then he and Oklahoma City found their groove offensively. You certainly saw that crescendo as the game went on. And you know what they are defensively, too. Oklahoma City's forcing an NBA high 18.3 turnovers per game in the playoffs. They've been great. They've been absolutely great.
Yeah, I mean, barring injury, they're going to win the title.
Yeah.
I mean, I just say that matter-of-factly because they've been the best team all year. They have the MVP. They are loaded with players in terms of two-way ability. My least favorite term in the NBA, because that is literally your job to play offense and defense.
But not everybody does.
That is the hill you die on.
It's so frustrating. Why did I even just say that?
Now you can't even break down the game.
No, it's really frustrating that I even say that. I have to point out that a basketball player plays offense and defense. It's like pointing out that a non-DH had a good game hitting and fielding. Well, that's literally their job, is to do that, right? So we have to now point that out in the NBA. But if you look at that Oklahoma City Thunder team, they have guys that are really good at both offense and defense. And Tim Legler said something fascinating, ESPN NBA analyst, America's analyst here on Unsportsmanlike. When you have a great interior defense team, normally you don't have a great perimeter defense. When you have a great perimeter defense, normally you don't have a great interior defense. Well, they have everything. They have absolutely everything. They can guard you on the perimeter, and they can guard you inside, and there's multiple guys that can do that. They are awesome. I was talking to Hembo from Get Up this morning, and he said over-under losses the rest of the playoffs for Oklahoma City, 2.5.
Ooh.
And he said to me, he goes, I'll take the under easily. Said, I'd be surprised if they lost more than one game in this series and more than one game in the next series. That would indicate that we actually have a dominant champion, and that what we saw in the last round in their series against Denver was, quote unquote, the finals relative to the competition. And they were playing, obviously, the best player in the world in Jokic. But that's how good this team has been all year. When you're down 4 at the half and you outscore your opposition by 30 in the second half, and the other team has Anthony Edwards on it, Julius Randle had 6 threes in the first half of this game. He's been great. I mean, that is a dominant performance. Absolutely dominant performance in the second half. That's the Oklahoma City side of it. What's Ant doing?
What do you mean, what's he doing?
Why doesn't he shoot? And why doesn't he get closer to the basket when he shoots? I mean, look.
Well, he turned his ankle in the first quarter, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. It was the ankle that he turned in the Warriors series. It was the ankle that he turned in the Lakers series. So I'm pretty sure that it doesn't feel great right now. And you got to give credit to the Oklahoma City Thunder defense. They're long, they're deep. They get in the gaps. They create a lot of problems defensively. The OKC defense is absolutely legit, and it showed up.
It's punishing.
Absolutely. I mean, and Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves said it was like playing against an AAU defense in terms of just how aggressive they are. So you're going to have to deal with that. It's unrelenting, and when you don't feel good, it can create some problems in terms of you being able to initiate offense, but that's when the others have to make shots for Minnesota, and that, to me, is where the immaturity popped up from the Wolves, and I didn't expect to see that. I mean, really bad shot selection, pulling from deep early in the shot clock, those are just things that you wouldn't think would happen. And then another sign of immaturity is how you close quarters, how you close halves. OKC closed the second quarter, the first half, on a 5-0 run. They were down by 9 with a minute to go. They ended up cutting it to 4. They went on a 10-0 run in the third quarter, right? Mark Daigneault calls the timeout with 7:22 to go. Then all of a sudden, OKC goes on a run. That's what mature teams do. Conversely, immature teams allow those things to happen. And that's what surprised me about the way that Minnesota played. They should have firmly been in control of that game after the first half that SGA and J-Dub played. But they didn't take control of it. They didn't win the game when it was there to be had, and it came back to bite them in the second half.
Do you expect a different version of Minnesota? Ant post-game saying that he needs to shoot more, that he's going to watch the film, pick it apart, and come back. He seemed very cool, calm, and collected after the game.
Always is. Let's hear what Ant had to say about that in terms of shooting more, as Smalls referenced.
I definitely got to shoot more. I only took 13 shots, but I'll say probably just get off the ball a little more, play without the ball. I think that'll be the answer, because playing on the ball, they're just going to double and sit in the gaps all day. So got to go watch some film and pick it apart. We'll figure it out.
Or you could just do what SGA did. I mean, SGA was brilliant in the second half at being able to push the pace and get into his offense before Minnesota could set their defense. Now, of course, that's a product of being able to create turnovers. That's a product of some bad missed shots and getting runouts. But SGA, you saw, was a lot more aggressive earlier in the clock trying to get the basketball into the paint, trying to get to his spots. And when he got cut off by the defense, making the right pass, either assisting or in hockey assist, that led to a good shot for OKC. That's what Ant Edwards has to do. You've got to take a page out of that book, because you know the defense ain't going nowhere, bro. They're going to key in on you, and you are the catalyst for Minnesota. So you got to find ways to get yourself going. And the best way to do that is to try to create some offense early in the shot clock, but not by settling for jump shots, by forcing the issue, by trying to get into the paint, making them double, making them collapse on you, and then kicking out to open shooters.
Yeah, he had 18 points last night, but only took 13 shots, 5 of 13 from the floor. This postseason, it's weird because Ant Edwards in the last 2 games, so that's the last game against the Warriors and obviously this one, 28 field goal attempts. Not enough, obviously. Injuries could play a factor into it. Second game this postseason, under 20 points. Third game under 22, or 22 and under, excuse me. 8 of 13 shots last night from behind the arc. 9 of 15 in the last game against the Warriors, behind the arc. I understand he's a good three-point shooter. Nobody's doubting that. But Ant's superpower is the ability to dunk on guys, in essence, and get to the basket.
We almost caught a body yesterday against Lou Dort, though.
But
he almost caught a body on him.
He's got to do it. He's got to get to the free throw line.
Yeah.
And I made the comparison not just because I love the player and the team, but I do think it's Dwayne Wade-like in many ways. And Dwayne's superpower was getting to the basket, getting fouled, getting to the free throw line, expending so much energy, and then having the moment to relax for a second while you're shooting free throws and being able to take the hits. Ant Edwards is a truck. He's got to play that way if they want to win. And we said yesterday, star versus superstar, right? Smalls, you were very specific in that Ant superstar, SGA star. If this series continues this way, SGA's resume is way better than Ant's.
Oh, like I said yesterday as well, SGA has an opportunity to be a superstar. If Oklahoma City goes on a dominant run for the next 2 rounds and ends up winning the title, and he's the huge reason why, and he's the MVP this season, that catapults you into superstar status.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I do think the ankle injury had something to say about the way Ant played. That being said, if you win the game, 0 excuses, especially when you look at a fourth quarter when your team is down and you only take 1 shot, score no points. That is uncharacteristic of Ant-Man, and so something's got to give. He's going to have to play a lot better. They got a day to rest up, and then they're going to be back at it on Thursday. They got to figure something out in terms of how to get him going so he can get the others going. Now, that doesn't absolve guys like Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo. All of those dudes have to be better in terms of being able to knock down shots. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they got to be better in terms of shot making off the bench, because that was